Welcome to Cancer 101, an educational program especially dedicated to the African American community. This is Module 7, the last module of this program. Here we will learn about how new cancer treatments are discovered and how you can help. Cancer affects us all, whether we have it, care about someone who does, or worry about getting it in the future. Cancer is the second leading cause of death, exceeded only by heart disease. In the United States, more than 500,000 people are expected to die of cancer each year. As we learned in Module 1, African Americans are more likely to die of breast, prostate, and colorectal cancer than other populations. In order to fight cancer, it is important to study how it begins and grows and how it can be killed. Most of the cancer screening, diagnostic, and treatment we have today are a result of cancer studies. Because of this progress, people getting treated for cancer are now living longer. The cancer studies are providing high-quality, up-to-date care for cancer patients. Clinical trials are the gold standard of research studies. Clinical trials are clinical studies to find out how a new drug, equipment, or procedure works and the effects on people receiving these treatments. Results of clinical trials are used to see whether they should be approved for wider use in the general population. Treatment could be a drug, a medical device, a vaccine, or gene therapy. There are different types of clinical trials. As their name suggests, treatment trials are focused on discovering ways to treat cancer, such as chemotherapies or radiotherapies. The participants in these studies are cancer patients. Most clinical trials are treatment trials. Prevention trials focus on discovering ways to prevent cancer. So the participants in these studies are people who have never had cancer but may be at risk of developing it. Many of these preventative trials include studies to change behaviors that put us at risk of cancer, such as smoking and unhealthy diets, or to adopt behaviors to protect us against cancer, such as participating in cancer screening. Other clinical trials are focused on discovering better ways to diagnose cancer or provide palliative care for terminal patients. Participating or not in a cancer study is a very personal decision that only you can make. As always, there are benefits and risks for participating in cancer studies. Some benefits include receiving, many times for free, the best or the new promising treatments. If the treatment works, it may save your life or the lives of others. Also, your participation may help to find cures, improve care, and advance research. While participating in cancer studies may be a good choice for you, each study may have some risks. It is possible that the new treatment or intervention does not work, or even has a negative impact on your health. Because of these risks, sometimes insurance restricts coverage to individuals participating in cancer research. Each study has different risks and benefits. It's important, therefore, that you make your decision to participate in a clinical trial only after you have a full understanding of the entire process and the risks that may be involved. Biospecimens are materials taken from the human body, such as hair, skin cells, urine, or saliva. Biospecimens are important for cancer research because they contain information about the donor, such as age, sex, and ethnicity, but also information about the health conditions and contamination agents the donor has been exposed to in life. Most of clinical trials include study of biospecimens donated by the participants in the study. In this way, it is possible to measure change in the cells because of treatments under development. Biospecimens are important in cancer research because the information they have is key to discover how cancer begins and grows, as well as new ways to prevent, diagnose, or treat cancer or other diseases. During the research studies, as seen in the image, researchers can run lab tests to develop new drugs and see if the new drug has an effect in the cancer cells. Researchers need hundreds of biospecimens so they can repeat the procedures many times and review if the results are the same in all cases, or if there are differences in the responses. People need to know the possible risks and benefits when considering donating biospecimens. Remember that the decision is only yours. Some benefits of donating a biospecimen are to help find the effects of treatment, as well as increasing understanding about how to fight cancer and other diseases. This type of knowledge might help save the lives of other people in future years. Possible risks depend on the type of biospecimen and collection method. You may experience pain, bruising, or swelling when the sample is taken, and there may be a possible infection. Non-physical risks include the possible loss of privacy and breach of confidentiality as a result of the unintended release of your personal information. Anyway, usually the benefits outweigh the risks. A biobank is a library where the biospecimens are stored, with the donor's written consent. Because biospecimens can be used for many years, they are kept in temperature-controlled freezers with high security conditions, so that they cannot be damaged or stolen. These biospecimens are made available to scientists for research purposes only. The biobanks are owned or run by individual investigators, companies, universities, or other private parties. However, all people working in the biobanks have to obey federal laws and regulations to protect the privacy of the donors. In the United States, there are thousands of biobanks, which vary widely in their size, type of biospecimens collected, and their purpose. The pictures of this slide are from a biobank at a cancer research center. There are multiple rows of freezers in the warehouse. The bottom left picture, right over here, shows the inside of one of these freezers. The biospecimens are stored in these boxes. As you can see from the top right picture right here, there are quite a few boxes of specimens in one row. And on the bottom right picture, you can see the tubes with the biospecimens that are stored in one of these boxes. Unfortunately, in the United States, less than 5% of adults with cancer participate in clinical trials and/or donate biospecimens for research. Only by increasing participation in these cancer studies can it be possible to advance cancer prevention and treatments. As we learned in Module 3, cancer is a genetic disease, so it is necessary to have people from different genetic backgrounds, such as African Americans, Asians, and Hispanics, to be sure that the discoveries are applicable to all population groups. Because of the low participation of African Americans and Hispanics in cancer studies, researchers are not sure if the new treatments have different effects in these populations. There are many reasons for people to be afraid or doubtful about donating biospecimens or participating in cancer studies. When people think about clinical trials, many imagine guinea pigs or getting sugar pills like placebo instead of the real treatment. Some people may also think that clinical trials are only for those who have cancer and do not have other treatment options available to them. Others never have the opportunity to participate because their physicians do not offer clinical trials as a treatment option. The best way to verify if these beliefs and fears are valid is by learning more about how cancer research is conducted. You may ask your doctor or search on the internet for studies where you can be involved. Remember that the decision is only yours. However, the first step in taking that decision is learning about how you can help to win the battle against cancer in our communities. In the image, we can see questions that you can ask yourself when thinking about participating in a clinical study. Everybody plays a vital role in the battle against cancer. Although researchers and healthcare providers are important, no research about cancer causes and treatments can be made without patients' participation. However, a study about reasons for no participation in clinical trials found that 85% of cancer patients did not know that participation in a clinical trial was an option. About 75% of these patients said they would have enrolled if they were offered the possibility. Of those who did participate in a trial, 95% said that they were treated with dignity and respect, with 86% saying that the care was covered by insurance. What do you think about this information? Unfortunately, we are losing the opportunity to save lives because we do not have proper information about participating in cancer research. But now that we know more, let's think about how we can contribute. One of the main concerns people have to participate in cancer research is the lack of trust of the protection of their rights as participants. In the past, unethical behaviors of some research have shaken the public trust. As a response, the federal government established regulations and guidelines for clinical research to protect participants from unreasonable risks. These regulations are known as the Belmont Report. There are 3 principles that are mandatory to everybody conducting research. Respect for persons, recognizing the autonomy and dignity of individuals, and the need to protect those with diminished autonomy, such as children, the aged, and the disabled. Beneficence, an obligation to protect persons from harm by maximizing benefits and minimizing risks. Justice. The research findings are available for everyone, and nobody had special privileges. The gold standard to protect the human privacy and rights and guarantee the free and voluntary consent to participate in research is the informed consent. According to the Belmont Report, the informed consent should explain these 4 main points. 1. Purpose, methods, risks, and benefits of the clinical trial, including the biospecimen collections. 2. Explaining the individual's rights and procedures for protecting the privacy and maintaining the confidentiality of data. 3. Informed consent should also explain how participants' information will be used, who will have access to it, and if data and/or biospecimens will be used for future research. And 4, how findings are going to be published and whether the donor can share in any profits that the research generates. The informed consent should also specify that although you sign the informed consent, you are free to change your mind and stop participating at any time. With the completion of this module, you now have an understanding of how cancer research works, what clinical trials and biospecimens are, different types of clinical trials and biospecimens, how clinical trials and biobanks protect your privacy and rights, why both are important in research, the benefits and risks associated with both, and what informed consent entails. Now you have completed the full educational program, Cancer 101 for African Americans. We know you have taken time to complete this program. We hope that this has helped you to learn what cancer is, how this affects the African American community, how you can decrease risk factors associated with cancer, ways to participate in screening and early detection to diagnose cancer, what treatment options are available and what may be best for you, and lastly, what cancer research is and how you can help save lives, with or without cancer. We hope you have learned something new and will share this information with your family, friends, and loved ones. Feel free to revisit these modules at your convenience. Now you can use the weapon of knowledge in the battle against cancer.